Cybersecurity is such a big problem that nobody's going to figure it out all at once. So we have to be able to do it together. And then that goes to staying ahead in a shifting landscape. We have to be somewhat visionaries. We have to realize that the problems we work on today are solved tomorrow. We still have to work on them today, but we have to think about how that's going to affect the future. Somebody's got to stay ahead of the curve and kind of see the future and say, okay, how do we push towards that future? Innovation is absolutely key because, hey, wake up call, we're all in technology. And we know that every day our field changes. And so if we're not adapting with it, and if we're not growing, and if we're not even pushing the envelope to the next stage and into the next level of innovation, we're just dinosaurs, right? We're in one of those industries that can become irrelevant overnight with just one innovation. And you've heard the old Chinese proverb, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. I like to measure continuous improvement by progress because the standard is perfection, right? And we know that perfection isn't possible. But when we measure progress, we can keep from being frustrated. So really we begin with where are we at today? Where do we want to be tomorrow, and what steps do we need to take to get to the tomorrow?
Trick with all of this is to be able to meet the customer where they're at in their journey. We generally try to sit in kind of a trusted advisor capacity with them to help the customer, again, get advised on how they need to move down the path and on their journey. From a specific, sizing perspective, I like t-shirt sizes because they're pretty easy for folks to understand, where you can say, okay, for this service, it's going to be like a small, medium, large, and then you give them a breakout of like what they're going to need in that particular service area. So what that does is then they can kind of say, oh yeah, I'm probably, I'm a medium t-shirt or I'm a large t-shirt, and it gives them the sense of like what they're going to get. So like on the rules changes, it's a good example is you're starting to build out your services. What you can do is you can say, okay, for small changes or for small t-shirts, you're going to have up to 2 changes per month. For a moderate, we'll do whatever 3 to 15. And then for large, we'll do 15 plus to 50, for example, whatever the right number is. So what you do then is you're giving a model to the sales teams that's easy to understand and digest. It gives something to the customer where they can start to see themselves in it. And then also it makes it easier to start having some of the conversations that you want to work through with them. It comes down to that packaging, right? If we can explain what we're doing that's different, if we can explain how we're automating things, if we can explain why our personnel have better credentials, if we can explain those things, it starts to tell a better story and narrative, and customers will latch on to that. You've got to take customers on the journey. And if you can do that, what it translates to is things like maximizing profitability, things like getting your pricing model more effective, and everything else that kind of come along with it.
We've always known security in depth and with layers, but the layered security is extremely important because what can get past one threat can get past 1 or 2 different layers. Hopefully they're not going to get past all of them, and something's going to stop it. So we learned, definitely really got to really minimize the attack surface. Having Lumu as one of the items, right? Having a managed detection and response, having, of course, the firewall with your security services, having maybe another piece that will go in and not allow any application to run that's not pre-approved, so that even if someone does double click on something they shouldn't, it'll just shut it down. And so you're looking at it in such a way that you're preventing a possible catastrophe from happening to your business by doing these items that we're saying you need to implement to protect yourself.
Have your team proactively call 5 customers every day. I used to like to do it first thing in the morning. People are having a coffee, kind of getting themselves together. People didn't expect that. You're calling me why? You're not selling me anything. You're just calling me to make sure things are okay. I would talk to multiple contacts, right? Talk to the director, talk to the frontline people, the hands-on people, and, talk to them, find out what's important to them. Find out, get to know them, right? Find out what's important to them and keep notes. I kept notes about what their hobbies were. If I heard that, hey, Joe, what were you doing last weekend? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it was my daughter's birthday, da, da, da. Guarantee you next time I call, I say, hey, how'd that birthday go? Yeah, but these are old school sales tricks, right? But they still, and they're not even tricks, techniques, and they still work. And everybody likes to feel heard and felt. So please get very human. I would also try to find out not just what's important to them in terms of our service, what's important to them in their job. The key was, how can I make them look good, or we in our company make them look good in their job? Everybody wants to look good, right? And maybe next time that I talk to their director, when I was talking to the manager of the firewall team, I would mention, hey, so-and-so told me about your great success with, so make them look good, right? So those are just common sense, I would say, tips, but so many people just don't do them anymore. We've lost that art